What is happening, people? Hey guys, today is actually May the 20th, and I have not fished in about 2 weeks due to weather and other engagements. So I've missed basically 2 weekends. So today primarily we're going to be fishing a Post Spawn Crappie, and I have not been to I'm at Hyco Lake today. Have not been here in maybe probably almost a month. As always, if you hadn't been to the lake, you got to figure out where the crappie bite is, and you know, a good place to start. This lake is fairly narrow, is in those creek channels towards the upper end, boat docks, some structure in the mouth of the coves. That's where we found them at Kerr 2 weeks ago on the Post Spawn. Was in the mouth of those bigger coves. We caught some really nice crappie there. So anyway guys, hey, stay with us. Hey, let's go catch a fish.
That's a nice one right there, y'all. Woo, dope, boy. Wild life adventures, that's how we roll.
Talking about Post Spawn Crappie, you know, crappie are looking for a place that they can be secure, out of danger, that, you know, they're going to have plenty of shad moving by and they can just rest, recuperate from the Post Spawn. You know, this morning I'm fishing my 6-foot ACC crappie stick, 6-pound test trilene line. That is a 16th ounce head, and that's just a ghost color in that Kalen's jig. And you know, one of the places kind of here, there's some structure under the water outside of a big spawning cove. So this is a good place for the crappie to move from shallow out in about 12 feet of water here. And they can just stage right here, recuperate from the Post Spawn. So I'm gonna turn around, and first, before I go in there and vertical jig, I'm gonna cast over there and see if some of those crappie will come up. I've seen some shad out here working around in schools, and some you know, crappie kind of follow them around to eat. So not sure this color is the correct color we're going to start with this morning. So hey, let's go catch a fish. You know, you know folks, this is where we learn together. So I have thrown that Kalen's jig, that white color, to these fish, and I bet I've watched 10 fish track that lure right there, hit at it but not eat it. So I have 2 other colors, both in a blue, light blue. So I'm going to switch colors, and sometimes just switching colors will make crappie key in a little more. Not sure. Like I said, I have not vertical jigged to these crappie. What looks like something to eat to them. I'm gonna keep this one right here. So I've switched to that blue color. Boom. So finally, we had a taker. There's that blue color. That's a good crappie. That's a 10.5-inch crappie right there. Boom. That's the 3rd color I've tried. Now that crappie reacted pretty good. That's got some blue metal flake in it. Boom. So that, you know, just that simple change. And it could have something to do with the water clarity. Now it's a non-cloudy day. The sun's gonna be up, and these fish are gonna push down. They up in the water column now. So let's throw over there and see if we can catch another fish. I'm gonna show you how many fish is in here. See all those fish in that tree? Boom. You would think, my gosh, all those fish in there, one of them's got a bite. I'm getting ready to switch over to a vertical presentation. simply for the reason I done got over here and got over the fish, and I don't want to run a trolling motor a lot, so I'm gonna switch over right now. Now I'll show you what I'm fishing with. You know, I got my 10-foot rod. I got a dark blue on the top. I got that little black and gray 16th on the bottom. I've caught a lot of fish on that. And these are some colors I actually had tied on for Kerr Lake, but I'm not going to retie. I think they'll be fine here. So let's just drop down here. We've got fish under us. And I'm just going to use my ACC crappie stick just to drop right down in on top of the fish. And you know, I'm gonna just hold the jig there. You know, basically I'm just holding the jig real still and allowing the fish, giving the fish more time to look at it and maybe move over there and eat it. Oh boy, look what we done come up here and caught. You noticed he hit that dark blue on the top. Boom! It's a good fish. You know, this fish is probably 11.5 inches long. Hook out. Yeah, a good fish. Boom! Good Post Spawn Crappie right there. You know, went right by that gray one, went right to that blue one. You know, and since they hitting that dark blue, that tells me they may be feeding a lot on aquatic insects. But anyway, let's turn around and go back up there. You know, another good place, you know, on Post Spawn Crappie, if your lake has some docks, you can find some boat docks on deeper bank lines, especially if they have some shaded trees. Can also be some excellent places. Many times if it's a drop off like this, those Post Spawn Crappie will get fairly close to the bank, especially if those trees are offering some shade down in the water. And you know, don't neglect those places if you see them. And most of the time your you know, your graphs will show you which side the creek channel is on, and you can also visually see it. You can watch those steeper bank lines, and you know, just watch the tree line. And you noticed out behind me how flat that is out there, and you notice we just came in some shade, and I'm looking with my live scope just scanning, and automatically when we hit this shade spot, I automatically start marking a lot of shad and a lot of crappie in this shaded spot. And you can see this shaded spot runs out behind me probably 30 or 40 yards. And you'll find crappie may be off the bank. They may be suspended out there in 10 to 12 feet of water right out in that shaded spot. And they'll just follow that shaded spot as the sun comes up. Those crappie will either move in and stay with the shade, or either they're gonna go to the bottom. So we're gonna ease up here and see if we can, we're gonna see if it's a crappie on this dock up here. So stay with us. Well, I switched up my colors. Now I fished the dock. The crappie are not under the dock. They're out away from the dock. You know, that's a pretty good fish. Looks like, look at that belly. Looks like he's been feeding. That's about a 9 1/4 inch crappie. They're good eating size summer crappie. I caught him. Now that's an 1/8 ounce silver. It's a little heavier. And then that is a blue color hair jig. And it actually seems like they're reacting better to the hair jig. So there were several fish together that I dropped into right on the edge of that shade line. So let's turn around and go back catching up. As you notice, we got right back in that shadow line, a little dink, but as soon as we got back in this shadow line, we got bit. So as a note, many times when you come to the lake, don't lock yourself into one method of fishing. And I'm saying that as far as crappie fishing, bass fishing, cat fishing, striper fishing. Most of the time my boat is prepared for just about any scenario that I run across. primarily I'm gonna be crappie fishing, but from time to time I can do other types of fishing. Same thing with crappie fishing. The way I've got my rod holders presented, I could pull lures, I could drop lures and push lures out the front, I could vertical jig multiple lures, or I can just single pole live scope. So as a rule of thumb, as a fisherman, be versatile when you go out on the water, and you will be a more successful fisherman. You know, as I ease up on this other spot, you know, you're gonna have spots in any given lake that hold fish basically year round, and this is one of the spots. Deep drop off, fish can move shallow, fish can move deep, some structure around, a lot of bait fish moving back and forth. So unfortunately, when you find places like that, it gets fished a lot. So we're going to stop and check this spot. I notice with the water clarity, is getting into that early summer months. Supposed to get up to 98 today. Wow. So much for spring weather. And the water clarity is very clear, and I will begin to transition my reels over to about 2-pound test line, and just smaller diameter and smaller lures. And you know, just keep that in mind. So anyway, hey, let's see if we can catch a fish right. You know, I'm dropping in on these fish here. I'll see some fish that are here. And boom, got bit almost immediately. Oh, black crappie, look at that. Wow. Oh, black male crappie, boom. Pretty fish. Possibly they could be spawning around that structure there. Boom, pretty. He hit that little gray and black. Boom, beautiful fish. Beautiful fish, about 10 inches long. Feels like a little bit better fish here. Well, you know, average summertime fish, 10.5 inches. He hit that gray as well, boom, right there. And you know, all in all, these fish are not real reactive today. The bite is a little off. Of course, we've caught quite a few crappie today, but they're just not reacting to, you know, come up and crush a lure. Look at the beautiful colors in that fish. Boom. Good 10.25 inch fish. So hey folks, I'm getting ready to end this video. It's getting on towards the noon time. The lake is getting ready to get really busy, and this is a narrow lake, so when the skiers and the jet skiers get on the lake, it's time to get off. The water temps today have been 79 degrees right now, so they're warming up. The water temperature is getting clear. I'm going to begin to switch over to some lighter line. So I found a lot of fish scattered in about 8 to 12 feet of water. 15 feet, a lot of fish in the 15-foot range. A lot of shad. They're up in the water column about 8 foot deep. The crappie are post spawn. They're scattered along the deeper bank lines. Find you some shade. Didn't really find them around the boat docks. They were more scattered. I did find them in some brush, holding fairly tight in the brush, and those fish were fairly reactive. They found some out in open water. I saw some small schools of crappie just out in open water moving around. So they hadn't quite got on that summertime pattern. So if I was you and I was going to the lake and look, I would look in the mouth of the bigger coves or a creek cove coming into the main lake. I would check there. I would check some structure that is deeper. If you could find some brush in that 20-foot mark, you could probably find a lot of smaller fish. The larger fish that I found were scattered. They weren't down in the brush. I found some close to some brush, but they were scattered out and around the brush. Vertical jigging seemed to be the preferred method today. I cast to some of these fish. I didn't get a chance to troll. Got here a little bit late this morning, and I'm gonna get off the lake. And you know, I've got some side planers that I want to try out and begin to troll a little bit, but I may wait a couple more weeks before I actually give that a shot. Anyway, guys, hope you've seen something in the video that you learned. Hope you've seen something in the video that you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. Subscribe to the channel. Please comment. Love to see all your comments. You remember, God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. Click that like button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Wildlife Adventures. And as always, you remember, it's a wildlife, and I'll see you on the water.